Welcome to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, a licensed psychologist and grief specialist, here to help change the conversation about grief and build community and connection while we all adjust to this new normal we are living in. This podcast is for you if you are grieving or if you are supporting someone in a season of grief. I'm glad you're here. Hey friends, welcome back to Grief is the New Normal. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, licensed psychologist and grief specialist, and today's episode is one I've been sitting with in my nervous system for a while. This is going to be airing on June 2nd, the start of Pride Month, and we're about 5 months into this administration, and last week, the House of Representatives passed the big, beautiful bill slashing Medicare and Medicaid, leaving potentially millions vulnerable again. This isn't new, and it is heartbreaking. It's grief, and so many of us are carrying it in silence, in shutdown, or in simmering rage. So today we're talking about collective grief, grief for the world we thought we were building, grief for those being actively harmed, and grief that doesn't have a single funeral or eulogy, but lives in our newsfeed, our bodies, our bones. So what we're going to talk about is what systemic grief looks like when your rights and values are under siege, why burnout, numbness, and rage are grief reactions, not personal failures, and how grief intersects with trauma, privilege, and activism, and how do we care for ourselves when everything feels like too much. So let's get into it. So collective grief is also grief we carry together. It's that ache of watching laws reverse progress. It's the pain of watching communities, especially BIPOC, LGBTQIA, disabled, immigrant, and marginalized folks being continuously targeted, silenced, and harmed. It's waking up every morning dreading what your notifications are going to reveal. This is grief on a systemic level. And if you have been feeling like you're walking through the world just raw and heavy and overstimulated, that's not burnout. There might be some burnout, but that's also grief, right? And this is the kind of grief that doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it looks like doom scrolling until you're numb, or rage tweeting, snapping at loved ones, checking out because you just can't anymore, feeling disconnected from joy even when it's right in front of you. It can be a deep distrust in systems you once believed in or maybe never believed in, and now you're just having that disbelief reinforced. And it's really hard to talk about because it's chronic, it's complex, it feels too big to fix, and it's everything all at once. It's not just one person or event, it's all of these things. And when we can't name our grief, we start to blame ourselves. Maybe I'm too sensitive, maybe I'm not doing enough, maybe I'm the problem. Let me say this clearly, you're not the problem. You're just awake. You're not imagining things. It's bad. It's bad. This is grief for justice, for safety, for progress, and for a different kind of world that we hoped we'd exist in. Collective grief is what happens when the losses pile up, not just personally, but politically, socially, and morally. It's watching the safety nets collapse. It's seeing your communities targeted, your identity debated, your rights stripped away. It's knowing that for some, this moment is terrifying, and for others, it's just politics. This grief doesn't wait for your permission. It shows up unannounced, laced with rage, hopelessness, anxiety, numbness, survivor's guilt, and a deep grief for the world that should exist. This is not a one-time event. It's chronic, ongoing, and it's easy to feel like you're the only one drowning in it. So this grief can feel hard to name, right? This grief doesn't always look like crying. Sometimes it looks like doom scrolling until you dissociate, or snapping at the people you love, lying awake at 3 a.m., exhausted but wired, wondering why you can't, quote unquote, just be grateful. Or it's even just feeling heavy, hopeless, or emotionally numb. And because we don't name it as grief, we start pathologizing ourselves. Maybe I'm just too emotional. Maybe I'm burnt out. Maybe I'm broken. No, like, you're grieving and you're allowed to name that. So let's be clear, grief is not distributed equally. Folks in the LGBTQIA+ communities, especially trans and non-binary people, Black and Brown communities, disabled and chronically ill folks, single parents, people living in poverty, immigrants, caregivers, activists, educators, they are often the ones holding the most grief and doing the most labor to survive it. And now during Pride Month, a time of celebration and protest, it's especially raw. You can feel proud and heartbroken, resilient and bone tired, angry and joyful. And grief doesn't cancel out your strength, it testifies to it. It's hard finding that balance of grieving while still showing up. And we can't afford to numb out completely, right? And if we don't acknowledge the grief, we're going to burn out. So here is what I offer my clients and myself when it all feels too much. One, let's name the grief, right? Can't tame it till we name it. So I'm grieving my country. I'm grieving what's being taken away. I'm grieving the pain that I see in others. Call it what it is. I'm grieving what's being taken away. I'm grieving the harm being done. I'm grieving how little control I feel like I have. Okay, great. We can name, that's the first step. Number two, feel it safely. Let the tears come, let the rage rise, but don't let it rot. Feel the anger and let it move through. Rage is valid. Rage is fuel. Rage is spicy grief. But when it has nowhere to go, it can turn into despair. So we need to find ways, safe ways to metabolize it out, to express it. Write, scream, dance, cry, move, punch a pillow, walk it out. Speak. Let your voice, your body take up space. Number three, be intentional with your inputs about what you consume. The algorithm profits off your pain. Stay informed, yes, and also take breaks without guilt. I have a number of clients I'm working with where we have a 4:30 cutoff timer for Instagram social media because they can end up in a doom scroll until 3 a.m. So that 4:30 window has become a cutoff. You're no less committed if you set boundaries. It's okay to protect some peace for yourself so you can stay engaged. Log off when needed, setting boundaries around social media. Your nervous system deserves boundaries. It deserves breaks so we can keep showing up in ways that are healthy for us. Number four, gather your people. Find spaces where your grief is held and not dismissed. Join grief-informed communities, mutual aid efforts, support groups. You are not meant to carry this alone. Sometimes the grief can feel really heavy, that hope almost feels fake or naive or pointless. And so I'm not going to tell you to stay positive, and I'm not here to force it on you. I'm not. I will say this though. Hope doesn't have to be big. Sometimes hope is protecting your joy fiercely. Sometimes hope is refusing to give in to apathy. Sometimes hope is continuing to speak truth in spaces that would rather stay quiet. Sometimes hope is noticing moments of connection and letting them take root. Even in this mess, hope can coexist with rage, with grief, with exhaustion, with not knowing what is coming next. You don't have to just choose one. And hope is not the same as blind optimism. Hope can be small. Hope can be stubborn. Hope can be a quiet refusal to go numb. It's making your art. It's tending your garden. It's calling your senators. It's hugging your kids. It's screaming in your car and then showing up. You get to feel it all, and you get to rest and rage and cry, and we get to rebuild in the same breath. Anyways, that's grief work. That's activism. That's hope. So here are a couple little nuggets to take away from today. You are grieving a world that feels like it's slipping through your hands. That grief is real. You're not weak for feeling heavy. You're not broken for needing space. This isn't just emotional burnout. This is systemic grief, and you don't have to carry it alone. Even in this volatile world, you are allowed to rest, to feel, to care, and to keep going. Wrapping up today's episode, you are not overreacting. You're reacting to an overwhelming reality. This grief is real and chronic and political and collective, and you deserve space for it without having to explain why it matters. So this week, my gentle invite to you is to ask, where does this grief live in my body, and what needs soothing, movement, or witness today? So if this episode helps name something for you, please share it, because grief does not get smaller by hiding it. It softens when it's seen. Remember to be kind to yourselves today and take care of you guys. I'll see you next time. That's it for today's episode of Grief is the New Normal. If this conversation resonated with you or you think it might benefit someone else, please share it. Sharing can open doors to healing, understanding, and normalizing these griefy conversations. If you're craving deeper insights or ongoing support, consider signing up for the Grief Gap newsletter. It's packed with resources, tips, and personal stories to help you navigate your grief journey. Visit the website www.griefisthenewnormal.com to subscribe. For those who prefer a more personal touch to their healing process, check out my grief journal, Authentically Unapologetic. It's designed to help you explore your grief on your own terms with prompts and exercises that encourage reflection and growth. I'm Dr. Heather Taylor, and I look forward to our next meaningful conversation. Our soothing tunes are provided by the Datacorns. If you're interested in sharing your story, collaborating, or learning more, please email me at hello@griefisthenewnormal.com. You can also stream the episodes on YouTube for more engaging content. Until next time, keep exploring your grief with intention and support, remembering you don't have to do this alone.